Okay, good morning, everybody. Good morning to the great crowd on Facebook and to the great crowd that's here at Chabad.
They're beating them back.
We're going to learn a little Chassidus today in the morning as we go to the Tanya, beautiful Tanya, the Alter Rebbe, as we are in Isra Chag, right after Pesach. The Alter Rebbe in chapter 47 of Tanya, the Alter Rebbe teaches us the following learning, the following teaching. So it's on chapter 47 of Tanya. We're going to learn a little bit over here, chapter 47. And I'm thinking of general going back to Tanya on Sunday mornings because I believe it's an easier subject to learn. But we're going on chapter 47 of Tanya. If you go to, you don't have the chapter, if you go to Chabad.org, you can type in chapter 47 of Tanya and it will come up. Chapter 47. In every generation and every day, a person is obligated to regard himself as if he had that day come out of Egypt. So the verse says, the Alter Rebbe adds every day. The verse says in every generation, Passover is not a one-day experience. Passover is an everyday experience. It happens. We have to what? Yeah, it's enough. We have to feel that every day we're going out of Mitzrayim. It doesn't happen one time. It happens every single day. What is the meaning that we're going out of Mitzrayim every single day? So we went out of Mitzrayim. We just went out of Egypt. We celebrated going out of Egypt. What is the meaning going out of Egypt today? How do we just went out of Egypt already. So how do we go out of Egypt today? So the Alter Rebbe says this refers to the release of the divine soul from the confinement of the body. Every day we say in the morning, every day we say in the morning, I thank you, God, for returning my soul to me, into me, right? So my soul comes into my body. God sends my soul into my body. Why does he send my soul into my body? Why would such a godly entity come down in such a physical entity? As you see over here, the Zohar says this refers to the divine consume the body, the serpent skin. The Zohar calls the body the serpent skin. Why? Because the body is a very good hider. It's a very good manipulator. It's a very good. The body has a powerful way to manipulate everything, to conceal everything, to trick everything. It's extremely a powerful entity. Doesn't mean the physical, but physicality in general. Physicality in general has the capability to hide everything in life. And to make sure that the truth doesn't come out. That's what we say, especially we live in glass houses. But the truth is that was the body. When Adam was created, his body was like a glass. It was opaque, right? We could see translucent. What is it? Translucent. That's a fancy word. It was translucent. It was like a glass house. What happened when he sinned? Sin is a concealment. Sin hides things, so we always try to hide things. We try to conceal the truth. That's what the body does. So in order to so here the neshama comes into a body, comes into a concept of a concealment, right? The soul comes into this body. It's concealed, and now the body is hiding the soul. So the body, the soul, has become now in Galus. He's become now into exile. He's come to Mitzrayim. The soul is in Mitzrayim. Is in Egypt. So how does the soul get? The soul came down. God sends down the soul into the world so that he would elevate the body. He would bring the body, he would bring the physicality closer to a spiritual reality. Right? So when he was sleeping, he couldn't do anything. He's a good percentage dead. So he cannot do it. He's not obligated anything. He cannot do anything. He's like in a coma. Now the soul comes back to the body. That's why the first thing we say, I thank you, God, for giving me back my soul. Why? Because my soul, I can do anything. I can do everything. Right? And the first thing I want to do is to do something good. I want to do a mitzvah, self-nusud. I want to do something that will elevate the body. That's why the Gemara says, the Talmud says, wake up in the morning, run to shul. That's the first place to run. Why? Because that's the first thing. Okay, the second place you run. I'm sorry. So I'm talking about after you wash Tegavas. Right, the first thing after you get dressed, you did all you went to the shower, and the first thing you do is you run to shul. Why? Because the neshama comes in the body. Now the body starts to hide it. The body starts to conceal it. Run to shul. Reveal the soul in the body. Give it its true purpose. Maybe if you run to shul and you reveal your soul in your body, maybe the rest of the day will go that way. But if you start off the day already in a world of concealment and you continue your world of concealment in your body, slowly but surely, the body becomes more concealed and more concealed and more concealed, and godliness is less revealed. So because it's very hard to overcome the concealment of the body or the concealment of the world. The world in Kabbalah is called, in the Torah, it's called Olam. And in Zohar it says the word Olam means Helam. It comes from the word hiddenness. That means that the world to begin with is a hidden concept. The world to begin with tries to hide something. So how are you going to take a world that was created to begin with to hide and to make it a revealed world? But that's the service of a human being, to bring out the concealment of the world and reveal it in a revelation, to bring a revelation to this world. So therefore, he says, in order to observe into the unity of the light of the blessed and saved through occupation in Torah and commandments in general, and particularly through the acceptance of the kingdom of heaven during the recital of the Shema. So that's why that we come to synagogue, we come and we pray. And what is the concept of prayer? Why we come and pray? We come and pray because prayer is a concept of what comes to the word to be tough or to be secondary, right? I accept to myself the yoke of heaven. I accept to myself that my true responsibility is what God wants me to do in this world. That's my true obligation.
Why would we say Shema? When we wake up, we say modernity.
Right.
Then why would we immediately
follow
it with a commitment to God?
Because you need to prepare yourself for that commitment. You need to prepare yourself. That doesn't happen in a moment. That takes Zimra, and there's a whole preparation that we do to reach up to that level. You can't just have Shema Yisrael in a moment. So therefore, it takes time. But that's why the concept of recognition. Moidani is the recognition. That I recognize that that's the fact. The fact is that God gave me back in the Shema. And once I make that platform, now I can build up what is the purpose of my neshama. So ultimately, the purpose of my neshama is Shema Yisrael. Hear, O Israel, the Lord is our God, the Lord is one. So when I what means the Lord is our God, the Lord is one? It means I'm united with God. The Lord is one. I become united with God. So I have the unity of God. What is Galus? Galus, what is Mitzrayim? Galus is the world, is separation. The world is about separation. The whole concept of the world is separation. We have separation of classes. We have separation of jobs. We have separation of different kind of people. We have a lot of separation. And we have those that are better and those that are weaker, those that are gold medalists and those that are silver medalists and those that are bronze and those that are paper. So you have separation. It's all about separation between man and woman, separation in the classes, and that's the way it is. You have even Judaism. You have a Kohen, you have a Levi, you have a Yisrael, you have different kind of Jews, and every person has their avodah separate, because that's the world. We're in the world of separation. That means we are in a world that separates, that there's division. we have to bring in the world from this division to the aspect of unity. Because it doesn't make a difference what we do, it's why we're doing it. That's what unites us. It's not important what we do, it's important why we're doing it. And why are we doing it? To serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So there's no separation of Kehanim, Levi, so we're all doing it to serve God. So what's the difference? That you do yours and I do mine without, you see, in the davening, we say, we need to have all three. The Kehanim, the Duchanim, Levi, Kehanim, the Kehanim doing this service, Leviim doing this service, and the Jew doing this service. That creates a service. If you're missing one of the components, you're missing the service. So we need everybody to do their part. And why? Because we're all serving God. And that's the beauty. And so therefore, we're looking for unity. We're looking for unity in everything. And how can we have unity in everything? Is when we look at the neshama, when we accentuate the soul. In the soul, we're all av echa l'kulanu. There's one Father for all of us. There's one Father for all of us. Not only for Jews, but for the world. There's one Father for the whole world. There's one God for the world. There's not many gods. There's one God in the whole world. For surely for the Jewish nation and for surely for the entire world. There's one God. There's one purpose. So how do we ultimately come to that realization? So first we have the foundation that we say right away that our neshama is who we are. And then now that we established that, now we go to the journey of true Kabbalah self. We accept in itself that we're all here to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu, we're all here to serve God. That's Kabbalah. What means the yoke of heaven? Accept the yoke of heaven. Truth is, that sounds like it sounds like a servant, But really, the truth is that gives us purpose. That gives us focus. That we're here to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu, service. We're in the service department. We're here to serve God. And therefore, there's nothing else in the world that's important. And if it's something that hinders our service in God, then it's not. Then it shouldn't be part of our lives, and we should stick away from it as far as possible. Right? Sur Meirah, go away from bad, Basei Toiv, and do good. Because if it's in the service of God, then it's good. If it's not in the service of God, it's bad. And stick away from it as far as possible. And even though it's in the world, all these kind of mashagasim and all these craziness are in the world, doesn't mean I have to be part of it. I have to separate myself, right? In this week's Pasha, the Abish says, I put you in the nations of Mitzrayim and I sent you to Canaan. They're terrible and they're immoral, but you have to be different, right? If I'm gonna put you in a good neighborhood, then what's the good chachma that you're different? You have to be different. You have to overcome the nations and the popularity of what the world is going through. You have to be a light unto the nations. So you have to ultimately not only elevate yourself, you have to elevate the world. And that again, that doesn't happen on Pesach. That's revealed on Pesach. That happens every day. It's a struggle every day. It's a struggle every day from going from exile to redemption. So God puts our soul in exile every day in the morning. That's the statement. God, you returned my soul from heaven. You brought it down into my body. And I know my body has a lot of mishigasim, has a lot of hang-ups and a lot of craziness. And my mind makes me more crazy than anything else in the world. And that I need to now, that's why I need to go out of exile. I need to go out of this craziness. Right? And that's when we come ultimately to the Shema. When we say, "Hear, O Israel, the Lord is our God, the Lord is one." Now I come to I started my davening, my prayers, and I reached up to the concept that I understand, "Hear, O Israel, The Lord is our God. The Lord is one. That my purpose is to unite with God, and everything in the world is for that purpose, is for that goal. Right? Wherein the person explicitly accepts and draws over himself his blessed unity. That's it. That the Eibishter, I'm united with God. And the Eibishter God wanted to bring the world to unite everything that's in my environment to that unity. Where he says, the Lord is our God, the Lord is one. Right? So wherever I can say the Lord, the Eibishter, the Lord, is one with this thing, then we feel the purpose of it. If I can't say the Lord is part of this concept, then it's basically a negative concept, whether it's in thought, speech, or action. Right? That's the three garments of everything, of where my soul clothes itself in: thought, speech, and action. So even a negative thought is a negative concept. God has no part in a negative thought, and surely in a negative speech, and for sure in a negative action. God has no unity with this thing, and that's Golus. With this disunity, that's exile, that's Mitzrayim, that's Egypt. It is previously explained that our God is understood the same way as the God of Abraham, and so forth, because he became nullified and absorbed in the unity of the light of that was the patriarchs. When we read the stories of the patriarch and the matriarchs and Moses and all the stories that we have read even in our Passover Seder, which we mentioned all the patriarchs and the what was the greatness of these people? They were people like us. They were no difference than us. I didn't have any smartphones, but what they had trust me, they had their own headaches and their own ups and downs and their own struggles. What's the greatness of these people? Is that they were real people. They were people who knew their purpose, who focused on their purpose in life, on what God created them and what God brought them to this world. They were focused on that concept from the beginning of time, that the Abraham merited by reason of his works and advancing in holiness from degree to degree. Truth is, that's the beauty of any convert, any non-Jew that becomes a Jew. We call him the son of Abraham, right? When he converts, we call him the son of Abraham or the daughter of Abraham. Because there's a difference between a Jew who's born a Jew or a Jew that becomes a Jew. Why? Because he's a Jew, a non-Jew that becomes a Jew is mamish like Abraham. He's simply like Abraham, a person that comes from a different kind of a way of life, total different way of life, and he decides to make the journey and to change his way of life. So that is simply like Abraham. Simply like Abraham. We can be the sons of Isaac and the sons of Jacob, because we not only are the sons of Abraham, we're the sons of Isaac and Jacob. Isaac was born by Abraham, so he's already born in that environment. Surely Jacob was born in a double environment of Abraham and Isaac, but Abraham was born by Terach. He was born in a pagan environment, in an idol worship environment, and decided on his own to become a Jew. And that's an unbelievable thing. And that's why even Jews should learn from Abraham. Self-made people. That we should all be self-made people. Not only converts should be self-made people, but every single one of us should be a person that has the capability to be a self-made person.
And he more than self-made, he was selected by Hashem.
No, but that's because he selected himself. If Avram Avinu wouldn't have been Avram Avinu, he would not been selected. So the Torah says, why I selected you? Because you decided on your own to change your life. And that's an amazing thing. So for 1,500 years, right, from the time, actually it's 1,900 years, from the time of Adam Rishon, which Adam Rishon was a selected person. Adam Rishon was a person that was created by God as the Yitzir Kab, he created the first human being. But then took 1900 years for a person himself to stand up and to say enough is enough and to change his life. The Eibishter wants every person to change their life. Right? Not to look in the mirror and say, I look like yesterday. But I wake up in the morning, I say, the Eibishter gave me back my neshama. What does it mean that God gave me back my neshama? That I'm not like yesterday. Maybe yesterday was lousy. And even yesterday was beautiful. Today has to be even more beautiful because I have a neshama that needs to be more beautiful today than yesterday. So that takes a journey. And as Alter Rebbe says, it's written, Abraham's journey going on and on. Abraham was a journey. Transformation, change doesn't happen in a moment. Abraham took a journey, right? Abraham, the first time we're introduced to Abraham is when he's 75 years old. Lech lecha ma'artzecha, go from your land, to the land that I will show you, to Abraham. He's 75 years old. So this is a long journey because self-transformation is not something that happens in a moment. Unless you have, you have sometimes where you have a Abish that gives you a zetz from above, he gives you a whack from above, but you don't want to come through that. You don't want to go through that. In America, you have to hit bottom. Right? Sometimes people have to hit bottom to realize that how far they are. It's a sad situation. They have to. That's humans. They have to hit bottom, and then they realize you have to. There's nothing else. There's nothing else supposed to go up. But the truth is, a person should wake up in the morning and he should say, "I need to go up. I don't need to wait to hit bottom to go up. I need to have a transformation. I need to go out of gullus today. I don't have to wait till the gullus is the exile is so overpowering that there's no more going down. The only way is going up. See, that's what happened to Jews before Matan Torah. The truth is, before the Jews received the Torah in Mitzrayim, it says they came to the lowest point in their life. The lowest, they hit bottom. They reached up to, the Zohar says they reached to the 49 levels of impurity. If God wouldn't have taken them out of Mitzrayim in that moment, they would have been finished. Why? Because they hit bottom. When you hit bottom, either some people reverberate or some people never come back. Chas v'shalom. They hit bottom and then they kill themselves because they don't see any way of getting out of it. So they hit bottom. So what did Matan Torah do? Matan Torah gave a person the capability never to hit bottom. Never to hit bottom. That you should never come to a situation where you hit bottom. Because if you hit bottom, then it's a sad situation. A person should be able, the Eibishter gave a neshama to a yid, and he gave him the tools, and he gave him the capability to never hit bottom. To always be, you'll always never hit top. You'll take that might take you a long time, but you should never, ever hit bottom. Do one mitzvah a day. One mitzvah a day keeps the doctor away. Do one mitzvah. Do one good deed. Do one selfless thing. Do one good thing. Never hit bottom. That's why it says that every Jew is Malay mitzvahs karima, full of mitzvahs like a pomegranate. Because we can't hit bottom. We're never gonna hit bottom. So even though you're whatever situation you are, you're not at the bottom. There's no small Jew today. After Matan Torah, there's no small Jew. We're not at the bottom. We'll never be at the bottom again. That's Yitzias Mitzrayim. Yitzias Mitzrayim brought the Jewish people to the bottom, and our God said, that's it. It's never going to happen again. You're at the bottom. You're always vacillating. You're going low, but not the bottom. Because Baruch Hashem, you're a Jew. Right? Nobody should be depressed. Nobody should be, not that you're a Jew, you should not be depressed anymore. Being a Jew should automatically relieve you from any depression. How can you be depressed if you're a Yid? You be depressed? I'm a Jew.
Pharaoh really believed we were going on a sojourn for 3 days into the desert and that we were going to return.
Pharaoh didn't make a difference. When you're a king and you're a pharaoh, it doesn't make a difference. 3 days, a million years. It doesn't make a difference to him. You cannot leave the pharaoh. You cannot leave your Yetzer Hara. It doesn't make a difference whether you give in. You see, it's actually a great lesson. Your Yetzer Hara, it doesn't make a difference to whether you overcome him in one thing or you overcome him in 10 things. He doesn't like retreat. You have to learn from the Yetzer Hara that concept. Doesn't like retreat. Your negativity never wants retreat. That's why your negativity would even give into your positive as long as there's a little negative there. Okay, so he's willing to have. He understands that it's worth it for him to have defeat as long as he's still part of it. So like your ego, my ego never wants to retreat. He always wants to be there. So I can have less ego, very less ego, extremely less ego, but no ego? No. That I'm not going to go that far. I'm not going to be selfless. I'll always have a little ego. Always have it. That's why we're coming from Pesach is to get rid of the chametz, not just to get rid of burn the chametz, to eradicate it because we need because as long as there's ego, he's happy. Step on me, like step on me, spit on me, talk about me, as long as it's about me. Right? As long as it's about me, right? Right? Because as long as it's talking about me, ultimately it's about me. My ego is there. So the ego is a smart entity. You understand? It's not all or nothing to him. He's willing to give in as long as he's there. He's not willing to give. He's not willing to give up.
What do they say? Good press, bad press. As long as I'm in the press,
correct.
Doesn't matter.
Correct. So you have to. That's the ego. The ego always wants to be there because the ego knows as long as he's there, he can always become bigger. If he's not there anymore, now he has no power. He's not there anymore. But as long as he's there, to him it's positive. We have to realize that's why the service of transforming ourselves from an ego to a godly entity is an extremely long avodah. It's extremely a long process. That's why the nations worship idols. Because they couldn't understand how do you worship something that has no entity. Jews worship infinity. An infinite concept. Even till today, they can't comprehend how do you they have to have a finite concept. There's got to be something you physically you need to do to bow to. Because how do you become? How do you go to an? How does a finite entity go to an infinite concept? It's hard to. It's truly hard to comprehend. But that's a Jew who cannot. The second it's finite, that's ego. That's your ego. Finite is a concept of yesh. That's what we call it yesh mesh mi'ayin, something from nothing. So we call the Eibishter, so to say nothing, ayin, and the physical world is a yesh, something. Yesh means something. Yesh means ego. When you say something is there, that means it has this table it's a table, not a chair. Right? In English, the word I is a capital. I'm a capital. Leibish is a neichi, I. Reich Hashem, I am God. How do you make yourself not a capital? That only the God's the capital. Only Anechi, I am God, your God. Ani Hashem Elokecha, I am God, your God. I'm the true I. In our case, so see that's the difference. So Abraham, Mamish, Avram Avinu, needed to change his world, take himself and push it to transform his life. In our case, however, it's a heritage, it's a gift. We've been given a gift. We've been given a gift. It's not something that we need to only. We're never gonna hit out. We're never gonna hit bottom. We Jews are never gonna hit bottom because we are gonna be. We're given a gift. We were born a Jew. That he's given a Hostis Torah, and has closed in it his blessed will and wisdom, which are united with his blessed essence and being perfect unity. And surely this is as if he gave us his very self. So the Eibishter gave us a gift, gave us the Torah, gave us mitzvahs, which is him. What is God? The Torah is God's wisdom. The mitzvah is God's will. So here we have the capability to connect the wisdom of God and to God's will. What can be better? What can be better than to be able to connect to the Eibishter's will and wisdom? Truth is, that's in every relationship. We have a relationship with somebody else. What are we trying to accomplish with this relationship? What are we trying to accomplish in any relationship, even friends or even in a marriage relationship? What are you trying to accomplish in any relationship? That two people that come from two different worlds and two different realities should think a little bit like each other. Right? Should think like each other. And to like a little bit. It's impossible to think totally, but to have the same focus in life, right? Maybe they have different ways of life, but to have the same focus, that's to build a home. We're building a home together. That means even though we're different, we have the same focus in life that we're trying to accomplish together. Maybe two different people trying to accomplish a beautiful unit, a beautiful home presence, and then to do the will of each other. To do each other's will. And to fulfill each other's desires. That's exactly what any relationship is trying to accomplish. The Eibishter, that's why King Solomon, when he wanted to express the relationship between the humans and God, he expressed it in a love Shir Hashirim, in a poem of love between a man and a woman. Which that's the same concept. The aspect of bringing two entities together, right? That's what the Torah wants a man to marry a woman. Shouldn't be the other way around, because usually we can get along with men. Men can get along with men better, and women can get along with women better. So the Eibishter wanted opposites to come together, because the Eibishter wanted unity. To have unity in two same concepts is not a chachma. Two opposites come together. Two different people come together. And now let's see if we can have chachma and ratzon. Can we have that they both can create a focus, a journey together, and can they fulfill each other's wills? Can they fulfill each other's desires? Then you have unity. If there is a lack in these two concepts, in the focus of the home, the chachma, the wisdom of the home, and there's a lack in the ratzon, the desire to fulfill each other's, uplift each other, to give each other the desires that they need in life, then you don't have a happy marriage. So too between us and God, in our comparison, the Eibishter gave Torah mitzvahs. He gave two entities. Torah is the wisdom The Abishah said, I'm telling you the focus of the world. I'm telling you the purpose. I created the world. I'm telling you the purpose of the world, what the world is created for, and what the world is ultimately journeying to. And hopefully together we'll be able to make this world a world that has purpose. And then I told you my wish, my desires. I know your desires, and I've told you my desires, my ratzon, my will. And I need you to fill my desires. You can't say, you know what? I'm going to live in this world with you. Me and God are going to live in the world together. And I'm not going to fulfill your desires. So Abraham needed the greatness of Abraham. He was not told this. Like, you imagine you're put into a blind date. That's like a blind date. You marry somebody you never met, right? Now Abraham has to figure out that's a tough situation for Abraham and God to come together and to be able to work that out on their own. That's a very difficult relationship, but Abraham did it. But we, Baruch Hashem, are given exactly what the wisdom is and what the will of God is. We don't have to, and it's still a struggle. Seems like it's still a struggle, right? So it's like dating each other. We date each other, we tell each other what we need, but then it seems like when we get married, what happened?
Try to change
try to change the other person. We try not to, we sabotage, we sabotage each other. We manipulate, whatever, all these kind of things. This is the thing. So we know what can make each other happy. We know why we got married, but we're not willing to do it, because that's the Yetzer Hara. We're not willing to do it. That's the evil inclination, who says, you know what, your ego, that's the ego. So we're willing to sabotage everything on ego, on our ego. If we would not have any ego, we would have a much better relationship. But it's ego. The ego doesn't allow us to have a happy life and to do. I'm not okay. What's happening in people's homes is purely ego. So we don't have to worry about big things. I'm talking about relationships. I'm struggling with Jews over here that have struggles in their relationship. So you have the struggle in a relationship because ego, all based on ego. If we're not willing to have bittul, we're not willing to nullify our ego and to get back in the focus of life and to give each other joy and happiness in life, we're willing to sabotage everything. Yeah, and we're willing to sabotage. Our ego is willing to sabotage. Thomas explains that Thomas nafshi and plishtim. Your ego is saying, I'm willing to drown and you'll drown with me. That's the negative. That's the ego. Ego is, I'll drown, you'll drown with me. I'll schlepp you with me. That's the sadness of one's ego. But that's the struggle. That's what we go for. That's the Mitzrayim. That's our ego will drag us down, destroy us, and destroy everything else. So we as Jews, Baruch Hashem, that's all we got to do is open up the Gemara, open Shulchan Aruch, go learn some Torah, and you'll have all the tools that you need to break your ego, to realize you have a purpose in this world. Your purpose is not yourself. Your purpose is a godly purpose. And the Eibishter brought people together. They have a purpose. The purpose is to create a beautiful Jewish home, a happy home, and to do good deeds in this home, and to do mitzvahs, and to establish a beautiful reality in this world. Because that's God's reality. That's a godly reality. So we can establish a godly reality in this world. Mar says, Oisa Shalom, that where do you see a godly reality in a home? Shalom is peace. Where there's peace, tranquility, and happiness, that's a godly home. Where there's chaos, strife, It's not godly. It's not a godly home. It's a home of the world is strife. That's where the world is. A home that is based on the world of strife and separation and negativity. That's nothing to do with God. God is not there. God cannot be found in such a home. Because God is unity. Thank you. In this sense, the Zohar comments in the verse that they bring me an offering, which socially to me has the same meaning as Oisi, they bring me as an offering. And the Torah talks about the concept of bringing a truma, an offering to God. When a Jew brings truma, truma means a charity. Charity is truma to the Kohen. Truma means separate. When we separate something from the world, the pasuk says v'yikhu li truma, and you shall bring. The simple interpretation is you shall bring to me a truma, but it really the word means v'yikhu, you take me. V'yikhu li, when you do a truma, when you elevate this world, when you separate the world, when you bring tranquility in the world, when you bring purpose in the world, you are taking me. V'yikhu li, you want to be united with me. Make this world a better world. Make this world a happier world. Make this world a holier world. Then you are taking me. So where there is unity, there's God.
Oh.
Yeah.
So this week, John and I started working at a soup kitchen.
Yeah.
And John's been using his cooking skills.
Yeah.
And cooking wonderful food.
Oh,
and I do passing out fruits and vegetables, which there aren't enough of, which I'm going to write a grant for so they can get more.
No, for sure.
And it's been real. It's something that we are doing separately, but it's something that we're also doing together. We go together.
Beautiful. That's it. That's the way you take the Abish, but you need to bring that home. It's good to go to the soup kitchen. You need to make the soup kitchen in your house.
Absolutely.
That's it. Charity starts at home. We always think charity starts with somebody else. Charity starts within within my relationship with me and my wife. That's where charity starts. I have to have a soup kitchen in my house. And when I have a soup kitchen in my house, then I can worry about helping others. I need to help my own relationship. I need help. And then I can worry about others. But this is the meaning of oisi, me. And hence the text should read me and an offering. Except that both are one in the same. Study it well there. If you're going to learn this concept, that when a Yid creates in his environment, when a Jew creates in his house a peaceful situation, that's when you have God. That's where you take God. If you don't have to go to a mountain, if you don't have to go distance, it's right in by me. The Yikhuli, Oisi, right over here. In the relationship that I have with you, in relationship that I have with God, in relationship that we have with each other, that's where we are going to find God. That's where you're going to touch God. And that's where we have the most struggle. We can always help other people. We're always there for other people. We're not there for ourselves. We're not there for our own spouses. We're not there for our own family. We're there for everybody else. Where you're gonna touch God is right in your own home. You're right in your own environment. So this is where it starts. This without that, this is going out of Mitzrayim starts. Going out of Mitzrayim, going out of Egypt, and being united with God is the way I feel by myself. The way I feel. Do I have a purpose in this world? Am I part of God's purpose? Or what am I here in this world for? I'm here myself to have this godly purpose. I have a godly purpose in myself. The truth is, Siddur explains, that a person, Chassidut explain Kabbalah, that a person needs to charity himself. He needs to find within himself the aspect of a godly purpose. So the poor person out there is not the poor person, some poor person out there. The poor person is myself. My body is my own poor person. My body is called the serpent, the serpent skin. My body itself has the capability of going lower and lower and lower in impurities. I need to redeem my body. I need to myself go out of conflict and separation and depression and unhappiness and strife. There is where it all starts. And that's where a person needs to truly find himself. Now, let's finish this chapter. This is an interpretation. And thou hast given us, O Lord our God, in love. For by the light of thy countenance have you given us, O Lord our God. Therefore, the only thing that precludes us from attachment to the soul, to his blessed unity and light and will, that is, if a human being does not will it at all, God forbid, to cleave to him. That's it. When a human being says, no, I cannot cleave to God for whatever reason. I cannot connect to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I can connect to somebody else, but me, I cannot, for some reason, I don't have this unity. I don't have this tranquility. I don't have this peace. That's gullus. That's a personal gullus. That's a personal exile. So God forbids to cleave to him, but immediately he does so. He does so, desire, and he accepts and draws upon himself the godliness and declares the Lord is our God, the Lord is one. That's when a Jew ultimately, through his journey, realizes that he himself is one with God. He himself is united with God. Then surely in his soul, spontaneously observed in his blessed unity, for the Spirit evokes the Spirit and draws forth the Spirit. This is a form of exodus from Egypt. This is the meaning. That's the meaning. When a Jew says, I myself are going out of all of my personal, physical, egotistical, selfish kind of a mode. I'm releasing myself from this. I'm going out of this. That's it. I'm done. Why? Because I have a neshama, I have a godly soul. I'm a Yid. I'm a Jew who's taken out of Egypt already. I'm a Jew. God gave me the Torah. God gave me a wisdom. Gave me a focus. God gave me mitzvahs. Gave me His will. So I have that capability. I don't need to be bond in exile.
I don't understand the statement about the Exodus from Egypt is read specifically during this of the Shema.
Wait. Therefore, I didn't read yet.
Okay.
Therefore, it is ordained that the paragraph concerning the Exodus from Egypt is read specifically during the recital of Shema.
We don't say it during
Big.
the Shema.
Yes, we do.
Say it before.
No, we say it in the Shema. Vayomer is the Exodus of Egypt. Vayomer.
Okay, but we
Ani
really
Hashem
talk
Elokecha.
about.
No, but that's the third paragraph.
Okay.
So the first two paragraphs is the love of God, accepting itself the yoke of mitzvahs. So the first paragraph accepting the love of the Eibishter and the oneness, the unity of God, everything is singular. And the second paragraph is about doing Torah and mitzvahs. And the third paragraph is about going out of Egypt.
I didn't see it. Okay.
Ni Hashem Elokecha, Mashay Tzeis Ve'asem Eretz Mitzrayim,
And when I think of it, I think of the
Truth is, the third
Yasha.
paragraph does
Yeah.
not belong. The Gemara, it's a Gemara. The third paragraph does not belong in the Shema. It should have been only the first and second paragraph.
Right. Yeah.
The Gemara says the sages put the third paragraph as part of the Shema. You should know in general the Shema has 3 paragraphs.
Right.
The 3 paragraphs are not in the same portion
In Torah.
in the Torah.
Yeah.
The sages put the first 2 portions together. V'hafta and the Shema and V'hayir Shemaya. And then they added a 3rd paragraph. So right now the Shema has 3 paragraphs. Why did it put the 3rd paragraph? What does the 3rd paragraph have to do with the first 2 paragraphs? The first 2 paragraphs are almost similar. The difference is there are a couple of differences.
Yeah, they talk about the same thing.
They talk about the same thing. One's plural, but one general difference. One is singular and one is plural. The first parsha is singular because that's except the yoke of heaven is singular. No, it's all about singular because there you love God and it's singular. So everything is singular. The second is about accepting the mitzvahs and the responsibility to the world, and that's plural. And then the third portion is the going out of Egypt. Is the connection of going out of Egypt. Tzitzis and the connection of going out of Egypt. Why the Gemara asks the same question? Why do you put the third portion in the so the Gemara said because they wanted to talk about the Gemara answers because they wanted to talk about going out of Egypt. They wanted to put the going out of Egypt. Yeah. But the Alter Rebbe says now it makes sense. In a spiritual sense, it totally makes sense why you put the Shema in going out of Egypt with the Kabbalah, because that's the same thing. Going out of Egypt is the concept of connecting to God and doing His mitzvahs. That's what going out of Egypt is. So that's why the sages put it together. That's why you have 3 portions in the Shema, because you cannot have. In truth is you cannot have to connect to God, to love God if you're still in Egypt. You cannot really do mitzvahs and the will of God if you're still in Egypt.
Egypt was like
you need to go out of Egypt. We need to go out of spiritual Egypt. We need to go out of Mitzrayim. We need to relieve ourselves. We need to break our ego. We need to break our who we are to be able to truly love God, to unite with God, and to truly be one with God. You cannot do that without going out of Mitzrayim. You just can't do it. If you're going to still be in Egypt, your own Egypt, of your own physical hang-ups, you cannot really have a relation with the Eibishter. So you cannot be a spiritual person if you're an arrogant, egotistical, and with all your craziness to have this true unity with God. Because God is unity, and you're acting like an ununified person. That's why Yetzias Mitzrayim. That's why the Gemara says you needed to have Egypt and Yetzias Mitzrayim and the 10 plagues and the crossing of the sea, all before Matan Torah, all before receiving the Torah. Why couldn't you go the other way? Why couldn't you receive the Torah and then have been in Egypt? And then because you need to first go out of Egypt. If you're a slave to the world, you cannot be a slave to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You cannot be in the service of God if you're a slave to the world. A slave to the world does not again mean a slave to the world means a slave to yourself. If I'm a slave to myself and I cannot go out of myself, I cannot serve God. I'm giving Him tokens. I am service of God, but it's tokens. It's moments. It's you know. It's like, yeah, sure, I serve God like I serve the world. I have time for God, I have time. No, but a Yid needs to be totally in the service of God. And the service of the world is to serve God. The only way you can do that is you go out of Mitzrayim. You got to go out of your slavery. You got to go out of slavery. The second you're in slavery to your body, to your emotions, to the world, whatever it might be, you cannot do it. So you're basically using God as he's using anything else. No, maybe not be lip service. When I'm there, but then it's over. It's like I do anything else in the world. When I'm there by God. But that's not the Yid. A Jew is in service to Kadosh Baruch Hu 24/7. And everything else he does in the world is to help the service of the service of God. So really the service of God is primary. And everything else is there. But that you cannot accomplish that. You cannot accomplish. You cannot accomplish if you're still in Gullus, if you're still in exile. That means you have hang-ups and things that you cannot break. And that's why a Jew, a real Jew, a Torah Jew, cannot be addicted to anything, shouldn't be addicted to anything. Because if you're addicted to something, then controls you. You cannot be addicted to anything, right? Maybe I always remember my friends who were addicted to smoking. I said, "What do you mean addicted to? You don't smoke on Shabbos, so you're not smoking on Shabbos." No, so then you're not addicted. Because the person that's addicted smokes 7 days. So the Abish just showed you you're not addicted. A Jew is not addicted to anything, right? A Jew is not addicted to bread. 7 days you haven't eaten matzah, you haven't eaten bread. There's no addiction, right? You can't be addicted to food. There's 5 fasts. There's no addiction, right? A Jew cannot be addicted. Should not be addicted to anything. Because you're in the service of God. You have no time to be addicted. That you're addicted, that shows that God has a competition. Is a competition. Right. The bottle of mashkas is a competition. The food is an addiction. The smoking is an addiction to you. God is a competition. He has a competitor. He has another God. There's another God that's trying to taking you over. That is taking your focus and controlling you. That's Mitzrayim. We're all in Mitzrayim. We don't realize. We're all in Mitzrayim. We're addicted to our phones. We're addicted to everybody's addicted to something else. And if God's in competition with your phone, then you're in Mitzrayim. Then you're in Egypt. Because God is in competition with your phone. Is God in competition with your job? Is a competition. He's in competition with your ego. Is a competition. He's always in competition. And that's not a Yid. That's not a Torah Jew. Torah Jew is committed to HaKadosh Baruch. I wouldn't even call that as addiction. That is his commitment. And once I'm committed to God, nothing. I have no other day. I use everything else. I do smoke, I do eat, and I do drink, and I do all these things. But I'm not addicted to it. I do it because I need to eat to serve God. I need to say l'chaim to be able to feel more happier at certain times. So everything has a purpose. It's not just I drink because I need a drink, because I'm running away from something. I need to dull something. I need to change. I'm doing it because to serve the Eibishter. That's what I always tell people. This is not a bar. Come to drink here. We're drinking to serve the Eibishter. It's not just to drink mashka. We serve mashka here to be able to drink. We're not allowed to be Sefer HaTorah. It's the opposite of Torah. So the Rebbe said mashka is a davar nos. The yas is a despicable thing. It's only there for a purpose. If it loses its purpose, then it's a negative thing. It's there to unite with God. And if it's not there to unite with God, then it's a terrible thing. I lose myself. The mashka takes me out. I lose myself. Then what is that? What is that purpose? What is that a purpose of a Kadosh Baruch Hu? Where is that a purpose of God? Nothing. It's actually a negative thing. So a Jew is supposed to, that's why again, so the Jew, that's the Shema. Shema Yisrael, when I say Shema Yisrael, I say, what do I say? Here, Lord is one, and therefore I love God. with all my heart, with all my soul, with all my being. That's it. I love the Eibishter. That's what I love God with all my soul, my heart, and that's my commitment. And therefore, therefore, my service is to God. And then how do I accomplish that? Because I went to the Mitzrayim. Because the world, I'm enjoying the world. But I'm enjoying the world all in the service of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I'm enjoying the world all for the service of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, service of God. Not to enjoy the world as an end to its means, as that's the purpose in my existence. It's a very powerful concept. And that's why the Alter Rebbe says Yetzias Mitzrayim is an essential part. We need to go out of Egypt every single day. Because every single day, our ego, our body tells us, no, it's about me. Alter Rebbe even says that the depression, I'll talk about clinical depression is also ego. It's all ego. The person thinks that he needs to be something else. Or he should be born something else.
Is
Or people should.
It's poor me.
Yeah.
Poor me, they smear. I got it.
Yeah, it's about me. Again, about me.
Poor me.
About me.
Yeah.
And there's there's no poor me. The Abraham gave you the Shabbat. You said you gave me, why kind of poor me? Why poor me? Let's finish off this paragraph. We can finish this chapter. Therefore, the former exodus from Egypt. Therefore, it was ordained as a paragraph concerning exodus from Egypt to be read civilly during the Sifra Shema. Although it's a commandment by itself and not pertaining to the commandment reciting the Shema, as stated in the Talmud and the codes. So really, the Gemara is what is the connection between the Shema and the last chapter? For they are actually the same thing. Likewise, the end of the paragraph referring to the Exodus of Egypt, it says, it concludes with, I am the Lord your God. Ani Hashem Elokeichem. This also cause I explained earlier, Ani Hashem Elokeichem. Where do we see that God is our God? It says, when God said the Ten Commandments, he said, I'm God your God who took you out of Mitzrayim. One say, I'm God your God who created the world. Because again, for a Jew, going out of Mitzrayim is really a personal thing. It's a personal thing. Created the world. What? I was not there by the creation. I don't know. But to me, to go out of Egypt today, that proves I'm God. For me, to go out of Egypt today, to leave my ego, to leave the physical, to put the physical world in its true purpose, and to put my whole physical existence in its true purpose, that is Ani Hashem Elokeichem. That's going out of Egypt, and that proves to me, personally, that I am God, your God. I'm not just the God of the world. I am God, your personal God. I am God. Like I say, I'm God of it. Like he said in this chapter, I'm God of Abraham. No, just like he's God of Abraham, he's God of Zalman Buket. Okay, and the proof is that I've gone out of Egypt. That I put the world in its right place. I put my own ego in its right place. I know my purpose in life. I know what I'm trying to accomplish in life. I know what the Eibishter wants for me in life. I've gone out of my personal Egypt, and God is my God.
And specifically doesn't say, I am the God of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. It says, I am the God of Abraham, the God,
right.
Because
each one,
they had a different way of
very nice, beautiful,
seeing God.
Very nice, very nice. Okay, guys, have a great Sunday. Have a great day. Have a great week. We'll see you, Rich. God bless you all.
God bless you.
Keep on the journey.
So we should burn this book?
You don't burn books.